In 1985, a group of pediatricians at the Port of Spain General Hospital took the proverbial bull by the horns and formed what is now known as the Child Development Clinic, run by Dr. Jasmine Ramcharan. When the pediatric unit at Port of Spain was closed and transferred to Mount Hope, the clinic was transferred to Mount Hope as well. Many years later, there are now 2 units under that one clinic. However, the problem and the issue is not the fact that a clinic exists. The issue is that the hardworking doctors who are doing their very best have to deal with waiting lists of over a year to see children. And when they do see children, they are unable to provide the solutions that are needed to help children make progress because the requisite allied health medical staff are not available. It is our understanding that at Mount Hope, testing equipment was purchased, rooms were set up to accommodate physiotherapists, speech therapists, occupational therapists, and early intervention therapists for our children. However, those rooms stand empty because no one at the regional health authorities or the Ministry of Health, whoever is responsible for hiring the allied health staff, have not to this day hired those much needed staff. So children with disabilities continue to not have their needs met and to suffer.
Action.
Okay, Daddy. A classic example of a physical disability is somebody who is in a wheelchair.
Okay.
Okay, so Carrie, can you tell us at what age early intervention should ideally start and when does it end? Was it latest that a child can begin early intervention services?
Early intervention for the early intervention therapist begins as early as possible. You may recall from my article that I mentioned that it's not unusual at all for children to be referred as early as birth. So in cases where mom may have a certain condition and already has an established diagnosis, or a baby has been tested and they may know, for example, through amniocentesis that a baby may be born with Down syndrome, as soon as the baby is born, it's not unusual for us to begin therapeutic intervention. It can start as early as 3 days, as early as 3 weeks. You would be absolutely amazed. And of course, the earlier it starts, the better. Typically, early intervention can go as far up until age 5. And then at that point, we usually make a decision as to if further services are needed. That does not mean, however, that early intervention services cannot coexist with other therapeutic interventions. So even if you may be doing early intervention services between, say, 3 months and 5 years, it would not also be unusual for your child at 3 years old to start maybe physiotherapy or speech therapy or so on. So that's also not unusual. And as it pertains to how long it would last, it's difficult to say because there are no hard and fast rules as it pertains to development. It has a lot to do with how your child responds to that development and how parents work with their children in that therapeutic process.
According to Dr. David Bratt, pediatrician, and I quote, "No progress has been made at all despite multiple interventions, multiple meetings with multiple ministers of health, multiple chief medical officers. Nothing has been done. Because I don't think there is a political will. You know, it is very interesting because the World Health Organization has said that disabilities is not only a medical and a societal issue, it is a political issue. The other important thing about early intervention is the money it saves society. Because if you can get a child to fulfill its full potential, you save money. The Americans are very good at this. They have figures saying that for every dollar you invest in a child who has a disability in the first 2 or 3 years of life, you save $3 or $4 later on as an adult. And that's because you first of all spend less money taking care of that child as an adult. And secondly, that child on its own is able to produce money for itself, which helps to offset the cost of taking care of it as a child. Early intervention is a very important thing." End quote. Ask yourself this: if children with disabilities' needs remain unmet, isn't it your taxpayers' dollars that have to end up supporting these adults with disabilities in the long run? Join us next week as we continue to explore the gaps in the system and chat further with Carrie Phillips about early intervention. You can like and share our Facebook pages, Cause and Effect, a very special disabilities forum, and feel free to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Cause and Effect. See you soon.